everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Watch or Not with Jay and MJ, our recap show for The Last of Us, episode 8, When We Are in Need. I'm Jay.
I'm MJ.
Penultimate episode, yay. Right? Yes?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
I'm like, are we excited? Are we not excited?
I'm gonna kind of reprimand me if you will. I'm gonna start playing the game this week because we only have one more episode, because I'm not gonna get to where we are in the game by the time this episode airs. So everything I'll be playing, we would have seen reference to already. So I'm gonna go ahead and start playing this week instead of waiting until it's done.
Why would I reprimand you? Do you, boo-boo?
Well, I was going to say, look,
boo-boo?
I'm going to do it on my YouTube channel over on my little streaming channel. So I'm going to do it over there. I'll put the link in the description if people want to come watch. But I'm going to do it on Thursday nights. I'm going to play some Last of Us on Thursday nights.
Cool. Good for you.
Yeah.
So, a quick thing. This is obviously coming out a little late.
Yes.
We here, where we record, have we're based in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, we had some wind storms.
Yeah, not even really tornadoes.
Yeah, like just wind. Last Friday that knocked out the power for a number of people. I was one of those number of people, so I didn't get power back until about a day ago. So I had to watch the show 2 days late and set this call up or set this this recording up later because I had to get my house in order. You know, I had to throw out all my food and everything. Like I had to go grocery shopping and do all the normal stuff.
Well, two takes on that. First off, my dad still has no power as of recording this.
Yeah, that sucks.
And B, yeah, you need to throw that shit out. You don't want to get any parasites. You see what that happens when you have parasites inside of you. Thank you, The Last of Us.
Yeah, no, yeah, agreed. But yeah, I'm fine. But, you know, obviously this has been postponed due to that reason.
I think everyone saw our post on Instagram of the little cry face.
I didn't mean to do that either.
It was good. It was really good.
I'm gonna have to like make sure my settings are right. I'm obviously don't know what the hell I'm doing on this thing. I should not be allowed technology or social media.
All right, boomer.
Basically. So, penultimate episode, and this is where I think the game becomes, maybe the game or the show becomes a little like, what's the word? This is not informing my thought of the episode. We'll talk about that later. But this is the opening shot told me everything I needed to know about this episode, because we start like a little seaside town.
Yes.
A little resort town.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see a man reading the Bible, and I was like, here we go. This dude. I didn't know this dude's name, but because he was reading a Bible, I knew exactly where this episode was going.
Was it Dave or David or something?
David.
Oh, God.
So he's reading from the Bible to his flock. I hate that word.
Oh, it's
yes,
terrible.
To his people. And to be fair, they look what the hell out.
He even says in this like passage,
so tired.
He's like, I've read this too many times, and everybody in that room was like, yes, you have. You need to shut up and find some new material.
Maybe that's not it. Maybe they're just like, look, I don't want to hear about Jesus right now. I'm hungry. I'm cold. I ain't washed properly in a while. Like maybe I just don't want to hear. Maybe I just don't want to. But they look so up. They look like they've been through it. To be fair.
Well, and that's where I don't know if they ever explain what their situation is. I mean, yeah, they have housing because they live on like a resort that they're repurposing, but I don't know if they have electricity, so they probably don't have like hot water. They probably have to stay warm by being super layered up or have a fire near. Like they're very lucky to have like a roof over their head and maybe some guns, is what it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we don't know the extent of their power situation. Parallels. We're drawing parallels.
Exactly.
But we see this little girl, and I don't know if she's little, but she's probably like 14.
She's probably the same age as Ellie, 14-ish.
And she's like, I think she asks David, like, when are we going to be able to bury my father? And he basically says, the ground is too hard. It's too cold. We're going to have to wait till the spring.
Which I understand. If they're
Oh,
in the
yeah.
general area, I'm like, I get that. You're gonna have to stay.
Right.
But then I'm like, okay, so where are you storing this body for 6 months or 3 months?
They probably in a baggie. I don't know. In a bag.
Well, I will say
wrapped up.
we find out where they're saving him later.
Um, but so we do see that he obviously has like his right hand man, which is James,
Mm-hmm.
who we find out later is the voice of Joel in the games.
That's what. Okay.
Yes, it's Troy Baker. He's the voice of Joel in the games.
Okay. I didn't realize that was.
Yeah.
I knew the voice sounded familiar. I didn't look him up because I just didn't have time. But the voice sounded so familiar.
Yeah. And they have a little, like, David has like a little conversation with James, and James looks, tired and worried. And this is when this is kind of when we see, which we obviously knew. I'm like, a preacher can't be trusted, especially a white one.
Dang. Wow.
We know what's going on in the world today.
I'm not going to say anything. Just keep on going.
I mean, it's well documented in the news. It ain't allegedly. But he, I can't remember exactly what the details of the conversation was about, but David's looking at James and he's like, are you still with me? Like, and he asked him very seriously, like, you could just see it in his face, like, or I'm sensing doubt. I think that's what James said. Didn't James say, I'm sensing doubt or sensing fear or something like that amongst the people?
Yeah, because he brings
and
up.
And then David goes, is that them or is that you?
Yeah, because that's when David talks to James about how much food do we have left? How long can we survive?
Yes, that's what it was.
Because they're getting worried that they're not going to be able to get through the winter.
Right. Exactly. And I think David's like, are you losing your faith? Like, are you with me? And James is like, I mean, yeah.
I guess.
Sure.
Like
he says, yeah, he said, yeah. But the way I heard, I mean, what else I'm gonna do?
Like
That's what I heard.
I can't leave till spring. I'm here at least through the winter, at least.
Right. They don't want me closed captioning this shit because I would have. He said, yeah. I would have said, I guess so. That would have been what the words that pop on the screen. What else am I gonna do? And I'm gonna spell it. What else am I gone? GON' do question mark. And people are like, did he say yeah? We're translating. That's what I would have said for me if I was closed captioning this bitch. I guess so. What else I will do? But sorry, I went on a whole.
You went on a whole tangent.
I got a lot to say about this man. So
I told you this episode got real hard, real quick.
Yeah. So we understand that now. We kind of see where this community is. Like, they are on the brink of, not necessarily on the brink of starvation, but they are running out of food stores. Mm-hmm. This is legit colonial times. You know, they are like, it's a hard winter. It's hard to find livestock or animals out there. For me, like, this is, yes, game. Good job. So that's where they are. They are tired. They are hungry. They are not being satiated by the words of the Lord. They hungry.
We're taking a long time to talk about like a 2-minute scene.
I'm just setting up the scene. I'm just setting up for you.
Okay.
I'm just painting. I'm painting the picture. I'm building a house here. Okay, we gotta lay the foundation, get the frame up. Can we do that? Can I do that?
Fair enough. Let's go. Let's make sure to insulate this bitch really quickly too.
All right. So insulation. Here it comes. We get back to the house where Joel and Ellie are hunkered down. Joel is still recovering from his injury,
but he's been sewn up. You do see that he has been closed,
right? We knew we saw that bullshit. Ugh. And Ellie is, I thought this was kind of a cool, a cute moment because she has the beef jerky, and you can see her desperation of how hungry she is because she almost eats all the food or all that piece of jerky she had left. Yeah. And then she thinks about it and she's like, wait, I should leave a piece for Joel.
Well, and you can see her because she's got water, which we find out she's been melting snow, and she's like, "Are you thirsty?" Yeah. And she's been trying to give him water as he needs it, but she doesn't know what to do. He's in that point where it's up to him to kind of win. Yeah. he's definitely
Yeah,
going to get infected if it keeps going. It doesn't look like she's washing the wound at all.
right. She could be. She could be pouring cold water on it and trying to
Yeah,
wash it. I don't know why you wouldn't.
exactly.
Because you're right. It still looks a little bloody. I'm like, girl, what's the water on that shit? Like, wash it. I mean, I know you ain't got no soap, but get some water.
It's something clean, like find some fabric, tear it up, make a makeshift bandage, wash that shit down, just something.
Right. You found needle and thread, bitch. Like, just pour water on it. I don't know. Maybe she did. I mean, we whatever. We'll let it go. Girls do what she can. Okay,
Yes,
she's doing what she can with what she has.
which we notice because she takes the rifle and she goes out hunting because she's going to bring some food back. Because she, like you said, she knows that she's running low on jerky and she knows she needs some food.
Exactly. And which is a very smart decision. She's like, look, we've been here. I'm assuming for a couple of days at least.
Yeah,
And nobody's come around. There haven't been any affected. I should go out and hunt. But, part of the conversation that David and James had in the town was that James said that some of people said that they saw deer in the woods, but obviously it was dark. So are people hallucinating? Do they know? Are they just hungry? And they made the decision as well to take a party out hunting, or take those two to go out and say, hey, maybe we should go hunting as well. So we obviously know they're going to meet up.
well, yeah, and they even say like it's possibly limited. Like the amount of deer they saw was very scarce, so there's
Right.
not a lot to go
Right.
around.
Right.
Um,
So, yeah.
I'll say so. Ellie walks out with the rifle, and I guess the town she's in is right back up to a forest. That I would assume she didn't go too far.
Yeah, I would think so too.
I mean, but she like walks out and like very quickly finds, I mean, like a big deer, like a couple point deer.
I don't know what that means.
The
But,
points are how many
she does
antlers it
find
has.
she does find a deer.
Yeah.
And shoots it.
Successfully this time. Like she actually like hits it, which she was like, oh shit, I didn't realize, but it doesn't take it down automatically. The deer runs off injured.
Yeah. And being smart, as anyone would do, she follows the blood trail. Or she starts to follow the blood trail.
And then who she find?
Yeah, this is where we find out that David and James have stumbled upon the deer first, and they're like, somebody obviously just shot this thing. They're probably gonna come looking for it. Let's get it. Let's grab it and go. Which I'm on board with y'all. For real, for real. I don't know who's coming for that deer. They shot it. You know what? I don't see anybody around. Grab it and let's go. Let's get it. So I fully get that.
I would have done the same thing. 100% done the same thing.
Right. So before they connect the deer, we see Ellie come up and she has them at gunpoint. She's like, drop your rifles, smart girl, move away, smart girl.
She keeps her distance. She like keeps it pointed, like literally like everything Joe has taught her.
Keeps the gun up, girl. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they seem surprised. They're like, oh shit.
Well, the
girl.
moment like David turns around, he's just like, oh, and then his buddy turns around and goes, oh god.
Yeah. And she's basically like, leave this is my deer. And David is quick to recognize, how are you going to carry this back by yourself? He's like, we're from a large group. You could come back with us. And she's like, I'm from a large group as well. He obviously knows she's lying. And then he's like, well, maybe we could trade something, And that's what she's like. He goes, we have stuff. She's like medicine? He goes, yes, we have medicine. And I think the negotiation is like, she's like, get me the medicine and you can take half the deer.
Yeah, he tries to go preacher on her. He's very calming. He's very,
yeah.
Oh, here's what we're gonna do. Here's blah 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 blah. And like you said, the deal was give me medicine for like infections is what her exact because she didn't specify the type of medicine because she doesn't know. And then David sends his right hand back to the town to get some penicillin.
Right, which we learned is a couple miles away, 2 to 3 miles away.
But yes, it is half the deer, but that's where David then in turn sits down and talks with Ellie and was like, look, it's a while to get back. Let's go sit in shelter. There's a house right over here. Let's go sit over there and we'll stay warm and wait till he gets back.
Right. So they obviously have a conversation during that. They basically, she's doing what I'm doing. She's like, oh, you're a preacher, great. And she's like, he tells her, he tells her back his backstory. He was like, I just stopped believing in God until after the infection, the infected started. Like I didn't really
Mm-hmm.
get faith until that happened. And I didn't choose to lead these people. They chose me kind of thing. And he said he left the Pittsburgh quarantine zone with the group of people, and then they just eventually ended up settling where they are now, which we know is thousands of miles away from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and we found he was a teacher before, so he understands. Like he can kind of like guess where Ellie's been. He's talked to children most of his life, so he kind of like can communicate with her. Because I feel like that's what he used to do is talk to kids and teach.
Right, right.
Um,
And this is when he drops a bomb. You dropped a bomb on me,
okay.
baby. You dropped a bomb on me. You know that song, right?
No, I
80s,
don't.
70s. You're a crazy person.
I'll have to look it up
So
later.
what's the bomb? What's the bomb? Drop it.
They know that Ellie and Joel. Well, so David, the guy who he was praying over, and they were saying they had to wait to bury, was part of that party that Joel attacked or like was defending against out at the college campus. So
Mm-hmm.
they remember or know or got told that there was a young girl and a man, and the man got hurt. So David's put it all together and tells her, "Oh, by the way, we're that group that you all killed somebody from."
Yeah, I mean, and he's tiptoeing around it. I think he's worked this out on his own, sitting there and talking to her,
Yeah,
and he's kind of understood. He's pieced it together, and he gets it, and he's like, you know, you killed one of our people, who we also know the person that was killed by Joel is the father of the girl who asked in the very first scene.
exactly.
So, he's saying, obviously he went out to do whatever he could to protect his daughter. Obviously, this man did what he had to do to try and protect you. We get that. But I mean, and he's not like really saying, hey, we know it's you, but he's like, bitch, we know it's you.
Well, and
So,
here's the dumb part, and out of all of the things Ellie has been doing great this episode, and is amazingly trained by Joel, why would you put your back to the door?
well, to be fair, it wasn't like a real, like, framed door.
I mean, no, it was like so. Like behind David was a wall that had some openings where windows were, but she literally had the only door that I could see into this building was to her back.
I thought the walls were exposed. I don't remember.
They were a
But
little bit,
no,
but like David's guy would have had to like climb over or through a window. So like he came in like the only 100% open way.
yeah, I mean, to me, I'd be like, she probably got tired.
I-
It's holding that gun up is a lot.
yeah,
But no, I fully agree. But yeah, that's when James kind of, comes in with the medicine, and he has Ellie at gunpoint. We don't even see him. But David says, no, lower the gun, give
yeah.
her the medicine, let her go.
But then they get the whole deer. So it's like, okay, we kind of hoodwinked you. We know who you are, but we're gonna back out of our end of the deal. You still get your medicine, but we get all the food.
I don't know if they backed out, but she didn't stick around to try to get her half of the deer,
I think James would have
which I
shot
think
her.
was a smart move of her on her part to say, they know who I am. I don't think that they're going to let me. I need to leave when I can. I'm going to have to. I'm
Mhm.
about to make a choice. Do I want to try and get the half of this deer, or do I want to leave with my medicine? And she made the right choice and said, I'm going to leave with my medicine. And that's where James is like, are we really going to let that bitch go? And David's kind of like, she's a kid. Like, we'll get it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, because what is the first thing she does once after she leaves? She runs straight to Joel. Doesn't double back. Doesn't cover her tracks. In the snow. And David knows. He's like, we'll just follow her tomorrow. Like she runs straight to where she wanted to go.
But also, to be fair, I was looking at that snow, and that snow is like packed snow. So the tracks aren't really going to be. I don't think looking at the snow tracks is really what led them to her. They know that area. They know there's another town a mile or two away.
Well, and they
So
also
all they
saw
have to
what
do is just
direction
look.
Well, see, they also saw what direction she ran off in. Like I said, she in my mind probably didn't think about maybe doubling back or running in a weird direction to throw him off. She ran straight where she wanted to go to help Joel. So they're like, okay, we know there's a town over there. We know the general location. Like they knew she would do that and lead them to where she was going.
I don't think they let her though. I think they were. I think they're. I don't. I understand that. I get what you're saying, but I don't think that she led them directly then because they could have. I don't. I looked at this. I was like, with this snow, I was like, this snow isn't really like high snow where you can literally see individual footprints. To me, I didn't feel that. They could have just as easily said, "Hey, we know where the deer died. Let's find the deer. The deer's got a blood trail. Let's follow the blood trail from the deer. We know where she shot the deer because that's where the blood trail starts. And then let's go in that general direction." Like I don't know if I don't think that they left. I don't think that she led them directly to her because they still had to go searching.
Yes, they still had to go searching through the town. I agree. Yes, so but she led them to the like cul-de-sac or subdivision they were in.
We're gonna have to just agree to disagree on that.
Next time it snows, I'll go out and see if you can follow my footprints.
This is like packed snow, though.
It doesn't matter.
Like,
You're still going to make an imprint.
Maybe, but that doesn't mean that they don't have their own footsteps in there too.
Okay, that's fine.
I just don't see these people aren't like investigating footprints. Like they're not smart enough for that.
It's a 14-year-old girl who has 3 sizes smaller shoe prints than you. You're going to be able to tell
Let
her
me ask
shoe
you,
prints.
what would you have wanted her to do?
What would I wanted her to do? If it was thinking reasonably to make sure because they've already had a gun at you, I would have run in the opposite direction and double backed.
That's you. We're gonna move on because I don't agree with what you think. Here.
Okay,
but and we all know I don't really like Ellie, so for me to give her any kind of grace is a lot.
No, fair enough. Like I said, it made it easier for them to find the subdivision and where they could start looking for them.
Don't agree, but Ellie gets the penicillin.
Yes.
Obviously, goes back, doesn't know what to do with it, but she just injects it directly into the wound, which I guess works.
Yes, but and she ejects a lot of it. Like she did almost a full syringe every time, which is just a bunch of penicillin.
It's like half a syringe. Calm down.
I'm still.
But I do want to know. I'm like, how many cc's? How many cc's is that? What does cc stand for?
Cubic something.
Doesn't matter.
But it's the fact that like you have 2 vials, which I mean, probably half a vial per syringe, so you probably have like 4 to 5 doses from what I saw. And she like, the fact that she put the needle because she doesn't know if I should put this into the wound or into an arm.
Right.
The fact that she sticks it directly into his wound, just
I think for me, I would probably just out of deducing, I think I would be like, okay, well, if it helps infections, I should put it where the infection is.
Yeah.
Since I don't know where else to put it.
Exactly.
And then my other thought would be, I don't know how much to use. I would rather use too much than not enough.
It's gonna kill whatever's there. Yeah. And using too much isn't gonna, like, to my knowledge of what penicillin does, it's not gonna hurt the person. It'll just waste your medicine. So you could have saved.
And some. She has no knowledge. Like me, I don't have any knowledge. I don't know how much. I don't know if too much is bad. So for me, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna go a little overboard and do more.
That's reasonable.
But they kind of, I mean, David and the Amazing Word, they go back to the food hall, Troy Steakhouse or Todd Steakhouse, whatever the hell it's called.
Exactly.
With the deer, and we see them preparing food and everything like that. And this was the second time because I was like, that ain't deer. That's people. I know it is. These people look too tired to be eating, still actually eat meat. And I was like, that's people meat. I know it's people meat. But regardless, they cooked the food.
I never picked up on that.
I just assumed because I was like, where there's a fucked up preacher, there's some fucked up bullshit going on. And I'm like, and I was like, that's people meat. I know it's people meat. It's gotta be. But that they cook and they have dinner as a family, as a group together.
Well,
and the whole like they all do that. And I think David, James has been going around, like a little gossipy bitch and telling everybody every goddamn thing. And then David was like, look, because everybody was looking at David like, what's happening? And he was like, look, we know we found the girl who was with the, man who killed Bitchface's father, whatever her name is, the little girl's name.
Yeah.
And he goes, we, we'll take care of it. Justice will, prevail, whatever, what have you. And the little girl's like, you should kill them. And then he smacks the shit out of that little girl.
Well, he slaps her, and the comment, like the way he did it and came over, he's like, look, you may not, like don't ever worry, you will always have a father. And he didn't say in God or God will be your father. Like the look on his face was like, I'm your daddy. And I was like, oh.
No, not I'm your daddy, because that is a term of endearment. That is a good thing.
Well, okay, but yes,
no.
but like he's like, I'm your father. Like the look of like, I will be the one who reprimands you. I'm in charge. You do what I say.
Yeah, please do not misuse the term daddy.
Fair
please.
enough. But then, did you notice the portions on the plates when after he did that and sat down?
His portion was much bigger than everybody else's.
It was like twice, if not 3 times bigger.
Yeah. So he offers her a hand. So he's obviously a very much like an abusive, but care, like it's gaslighting.
Daddy beats me because he loves me.
What did we just say?
It's the saying. It's
My father beats me because he loves me. We're not saying daddy, okay?
Fine.
Don't call him that.
Father beats me because he loves me.
There you go. So they're all eating. It's just we. Yes. So they all eat. They're eating. And I also was very like sure. Like I was like, that's people meat. And then when I saw how fast they were eating, which I know it's hunger. But the way they were focusing, we already know they're hungry, but the way they were focusing on them eating this food really fast, I was like, this is people food. I know it is. Well, I know it's people meat.
But the thing is, with the chef, the woman who was cooking the stew, when they brought in this tub of meat, even the guy, when she goes, what is that? Because she even questioned, like, it looks weird. And he even told her, it's venison, don't ask. Like, well, I don't think the people know they're eating people. But I think that the adults are starting to kind of be like, okay, we know we're running low on meat. We haven't been out hunting, and we still have some to like. Something's a little weird.
Dude, I think we learned later. There's a couple people who do know.
A few, but not all. Yeah.
Right, but we yes, he does say she's like, oh, what is that? He's like, venison. Like he pauses. I'm like, that's fucking people meat. But whatever. We the next day, David and James and all them. And a couple other people, 2 other people, they move out to try and track Ellie back to the suburb.
But how are they going to track her? The snow's packed.
I'm not going to have a fight with you about this because I don't agree with what you said.
But you just said they're tracking her.
They go back to the suburb. They track her the way I said they track her.
Okay, fair.
They know that area. They know there's a suburb over there.
Okay,
they're not crazy.
Oh, they're crazy.
Well, they are, but they know that town is over there. They're not stupid. There's no way that they got over there to a resort town and didn't scour everything around. There's no way they didn't do that.
Okay.
They know that suburb is there.
Okay.
But Ellie notices or hears, she arms Joel with the knife, and she decides to try and lead them away. So she takes the horse on horseback and to try and lure them away. And dude, they shoot the horse.
That scene got me when I like. Obviously, it's not a real horse. No animals are hurt in the taping of the show. But the fact that they sit there and they show her like riding the horse, and then they show her getting flung from it because they shot the horse, and you hear that sound. Oh, my heart just dropped.
Right. So obviously, Ellie passes out from hitting the ground.
Yeah.
And they take her. I think David says, hey, 2 of you, James, you, and somebody else, you carry the horse because horse is meat.
Fair. You can eat horse. It's edible. Yes.
I'd rather eat horse than people.
True.
And David carries Ellie, and then he goes, the rest of you keep looking for, the other guy.
I think his comment was like, if you want vengeance, go find him.
Right, because he's been saying this whole time, like, we're not killing her. I will assume because she's a child. That's what I thought at first. I was like, I know he's a creepy preacher, but he's like, she's a kid. To me, I thought his reasons for not killing her were rational. Like, she's a child.
Exactly.
She didn't do anything wrong. He's the one that did it. So we shouldn't punish this girl for something somebody else did.
But we're gonna find out
really
real
be his
quick.
which could be really his real reasoning for it. I mean, we don't know. We never understood. We were never told if that's really what he was thinking. But that's just what I thought.
Well, no,
Even though he's creepy,
yeah,
I think he really does believe in his brain of justice, or what have you.
Well, but everything we heard from his past, like the fact that he was a teacher. Okay, a good teacher should be one who protects the kids, so he's going to protect a child. The fact that he found God.
Let's not even talk about protecting kids. We all know what protecting children looks like.
I'm just saying, but like, you would assume in ideological times, or like ideal times, you would put the child first, or make sure they're taken care of. You would assume that being a man of God, that he would in turn not harm another being unless needed. Like you would assume something. So you assume him picking up Ellie and carrying her off is completely altruistic and like good.
Right. But so we stay with the town, and there's 3 people who are left, to try and find Joel. And we find out, much to our surprise, that Joel hasn't fully recovered, but he definitely understood what Ellie was saying, and he basically systematically tortures, kills, and finds the location of the resort. All 3 men.
He understood the assignment.
Like, literally murdered all 3 of them. It was like, I'm gonna hobble my punctured ass to this resort town. Dispatches them very quickly, very Metal Gear Solid style, like behind us, like like hand over mouth, knife in the chest until they die, and then torture people. I guess torture. Like, here's a knife to your knee. Tell me where I'm going. And then killing the people who came after him. Like, he kills all 3 of them, dispatches them very quickly.
Well, yeah, so like he kills the first one, captures the second 2, like I say, tortures the second 2, and like does that same thing he did with the husband and wife that we liked, the Native Americans. I were hunting the rabbit, where he's like, I'm gonna have both of you point out where I'm supposed to be going, and it better match. But like in my mind, when he woke up and took care of that first guy and like stabbed him, I don't know why, but the song popped in my head of taking care of business. I was like, I don't know why that popped in my head, but it was perfect timing. The moment he was like, just got up and started doing what he had to do.
Yeah, I get you.
But yeah, so he gets the location of the resort.
Right. And Ellie wakes up in a cage, and this is kind of another chat with David. He is really trying to convince her that, hey, stay here with us. We know what he did. We get it. I'm trying to protect you. I don't want you harmed. You really don't have another choice. And that's the conversation that they're really having. And he's trying to appeal to her. He's trying to appeal to her by saying, we're alike.
Well, and he's trying to, because in his mind, he's like, you're my counterpart. I understand you. Like, you could be a leader alongside of me.
Right. He's like, you're powerful. You have a violent heart, which is what he said, which is like, I guess his thought. And he's really just trying to gaslight her and really convince her. To me, as this is where I was like, I knew this episode, like everything that happened, I was like, I know this, because when he said, you can stay here, like you are strong, whatever, and I was like, oh, he wants a child bride. And then he puts his hand on the thing, and I'm like, yep, he wants a child bride. Yes. And she realized that too, and breaks his fingers. He runs off, and beats their head up against the cage, and he brings in James, and basically he also tells her during this time that they are eating. She confirms they're eating people. She sees an ear on the floor. An ear.
Okay, I didn't. So I was watching this in my car, so that's what gave it away to her. I didn't see that. Yeah,
there was an ear on the floor covered in blood. And
okay.
That's when she was like, are you going to chop me in little pieces? And he's like, look, only a few people know that. I'm telling you that. So that's how he kind of was trying to do, was giving her information, trying to gaslight her that way. But after she breaks his finger, he brings James back in.
Well, she breaks his finger and tries to grab the keys to escape. And that's when he slams her head. Like, because he's like, nah, you're not doing this. And then slams her head and kind of knocks her out again.
Right. So he brings in James, and they are basically like, okay, I've given up. I'm assuming they're meaning to kill her in this instance.
Yes.
And uh, this is, some smart thinking on Ellie's part in a quick moment. Because what does she immediately say to them as soon as they get ready to do that?
The moment that he has like the cleaver above her to come down on her head or wherever he was going to hit her, she goes, no, I'm infected. Now you are too, because you look at his hand and she had bitten him and there's a bite mark right there. And that's where and he's like, what? So she goes, no, look at my arm. I'm infected. So he puts the cleaver down next to her head. They look at her arm where the like bite was that she got. And that's where James starts kind of like, David, no, we don't mess with that. We need you to go.
Right. And, while they're debating, she picks up the cleaver and basically lodges it into James's neck. He dies, and she takes off running while, David is, shooting at her. And basically this becomes a weird stalking scene. Like, he gives chase, and she's trying to get out of this steakhouse. The doors are locked, and he's just still walking around doing his villain thing. Like, we could have had it all, Ellie. We could have done this. We could have done that. You could have been my right-hand person lady guy. And blah, 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 blah. And you could have had everything.
And then
which
Ellie,
is what, villains do.
And then Ellie throws the, like, ember lit piece of wood and sets the entire steakhouse on fire.
Basically, and they're still just crawling around in there. And I think she finds a knife. Like, she's very smart in this instance of really trying to like make her moment and make her move. And then when she finally does make her move, she does stab David, but he overpowers her.
Mm-hmm.
And it obviously means to sexually assault her.
Well, and this whole time, let's not forget that Joel, like, we see him, like, he's out on the resort. He's just trying to find the house she's in.
Right.
So
we're like I honestly was like, that was one thing I didn't expect. I was waiting for him to really bust in. I was like, here come Joel. And David, like I said, like we said, overpowers her, obviously means to assault her. And she's able to like find that cleaver that he brought in with him.
Yeah.
And hits him with it and loses her shit on him.
Well, this kind of confirms the like dark heart or soul kind of comment. Like I think she's been toying with that mentally, like that she might be kind of not evil, but like not scared to hurt people.
Yeah, it goes back to that very first scene where she sees Joel like beat the shit out of that Fedra guy.
Yeah,
and she almost looks
happy,
amazed, and kind of proud, and kind of like, ooh, you could definitely see that. So I think we see her like really kind of delving into this dark hole, and I think the thought is like, is she going to get out of that dark hole? Like, is she going to get out of it? But she essentially saves herself, gets the keys, runs out of the steakhouse, and this is where she runs into Joel, and she's lost it. Like, I think that she is mentally broken. Like, she is fighting him for at least a few seconds before she really realizes it, and she just loses her shit and hugs him and cries. And then,
well, she doesn't realize it's him at the first.
Right. So it takes her a while, a few seconds to really kind of reorient herself,
mm-hmm.
to understand that this is actually him. He's up, he's walking around, he's here. And it ends with him saying what?
I mean, grabs him in his arms and goes, I got you, baby girl.
Yeah. So, which is a cool moment in itself.
Was the first time he's called anybody that since his daughter?
Well, they tell us that in the the after part. I don't think that I needed to know that to understand the gravity of what he said.
No, the moment he said it, I was just like, oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah. So, my only lingering question, and we don't have to talk about it, I was just like, where's the rest of town? Where are they at?
I was gonna say the same, like literally. So
maybe that's the next episode.
Maybe
we don't know.
But you see quickly, like when she's running through, and or Joel, he's going through everything, and he finds the like canoe area, and he sees like the 3 or 4 bodies hanging, like being dressed. Maybe they just took out everybody who didn't know, and that's them. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe the people who came to town to get Joel were like really the security,
Yeah.
and other people are literally just sheep. Who knows? Uh, but yeah. So what would you? I honestly, if I had to rate this episode, I would honestly give it 8.5 or 9. It was a good
I'm going
mix
8.5.
of. Yeah, it was a good mix of like I'll just say 8.75. It was a good mix of like some drama, even though I felt it to be very like I was me personally, I felt like I was telegraphing everything, like kind of knew where this was gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
I knew this preacher was gonna be bad. I knew he was gonna be governor, season 4 Walking Dead vibes the whole time.
Yep.
And immediately. So yeah, I think it was a really good episode leading into the finale.
I agree. Like I said, 8.5 is what I'm going to give it. It was definitely full of action. There was a little bit of subterfuge where they're trying to like play off like, oh, I'm a man of God. We're a loving community. Just come join us. Almost like we're kind of the same thing that Tommy and all the other people were in Jackson. Or what was the name of that one? Jacksonville? Jackson? But like not as technologically advanced yet. It's like they're just trying to get people to come in. But as the show kept going, I even told you quickly found out who David was. The man was crazy. But like he played him well. The fact that they were able to give Ellie kind of her moment where she can hold her own and kind of prove like, look, I'm not completely helpless. I like that they roped that in because it looks like they're building up to, her and Joel continuing on to finish what they started, is where I'm assuming this is going, to get her to the Fireflies. So it's like, okay, he's come to terms with what he can't handle, but she's kind of filling in because she's becoming more capable. So it's like they really complement each other really well.
Yeah.
And I like that they built that into this one.
Yeah. So excited. Cool. Well, that's our recap.
Yeah.
Loving it so far. We'll see what happens when it ends.
I'll say one more episode.
Yeah, hopefully it goes up with a bang as well. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We should have a normal episode out on Monday for your all's viewing and listening pleasure. But until then, we'll see you guys soon.
All right, bye. You've been listening to Watch or Not with Jay and MJ.
Interact and give us suggestions on what to watch at watchornotpodcast@gmail.com.
You can follow us on Twitter at watchornot_pod.
And don't forget about Instagram, you guys, at watchornotpod.
Don't forget you can support the pod by joining our Patreon at Watch or Not with Jay and MJ.
And subscribe and leave a review wherever you guys listen to podcasts. Talk to you soon.